All right, welcome back. We're just going to knock out the rest of these. We're going to try to do a little bit more upbeat, kind of faster thing because it's the same concept, right? Um, so what we could do is we could copy from here, but just to kind of practice, let's try to see if we can use the code that's here to implement these others. So for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the post. So I'm just going to copy the post, and I'm going to go looking for the list method, and I'm going to see if I can actually just change it. So here's the get JSON that did the list method. I'm going to paste my post above it, and I'm going to see if I can figure out what to change. So first off, to do something with the response, I'm just going to delete it because it's just entirely different. And then I'm going to see what's new. So instead of GAPI.client MovieQuotes MovieQuote insert, the name of this method is just list. What do you want to pass into it? Well, I want to pass into it query parameters. Because that was the object that I had prepared here. So instead of being called data to send, it's just called query parameters. And then I want to do stuff with the response. You can see that these are the two lines that I do with the response. So I'm just going to paste those right into there. I'm going to get rid of the extra comment. And then to be honest, I mean, that should be it, right? So the nice thing is GAPI request failed was nice and generic. This says RESP. That says RESP. Oops, this one says JSON. I think it's kind of funny that like it sometimes says data, sometimes says JSON, and now it needs to say RESP, right? And the response still has a dot items. It's still got a page token. So what we just did is we implemented the list, which is read, using GAPI instead. This one will actually have a problem, and let's see the problem and then we'll fix it. So if I alert it right now, oops, I'm on deployed. I want to go back to localhost. I have too many tabs open. So I try to run it, and indeed it has a problem. It says cannot read property movie quotes of undefined, and you're just like, hey, where the heck did that happen at? So you can click on it and you can try to get your Windows to figure it out. It's on line 134. It's actually showing up in here. It's just too small to see. It's line 134. So it says, cannot read movie quotes of undefined. So that means that client is undefined. And the problem is just a race condition, right? So the problem is that as soon as the document was ready, we were calling list movie quotes. And so list movie quotes is here. And it just hadn't finished loading the client library. Easy fix. And again, it's one of those things that let's do it the right way. So really document.ready, what this really is this is more of just like a main function, right? And now it turned out that the main function we wanted to call when the document was ready. So we didn't bother to say, hey, this is our main function. We just called it, right? But really this is like a main function. And then, oh, I've got this extra parenthesis down here because of what I deleted, right? So I got to get rid of that parenthesis there. So my main function, and when do I want to kick off my main function? So I want to kick off my main function only when GAPI has loaded, right? So this is really the right way to do things. So we only like kick off the whole like series of events once we've got our library ready to go. This should fix our problem. Let's go see if it actually got fixed. So if I refresh now, I can see that GAPI is loaded and available, and all these things showed up. If you were to time it, so if I do a refresh here, it did actually just get slower. So this is up to you whenever you implement your own apps. Here you have to use GAPI because you have to do what I tell you, right? When you implement your own apps, if they happen to not use OAuth, so they're not using OAuth at all, you could actually do requests like this without using GAPI, right? And it would have loaded a little faster. So if I hit refresh, you can see that it's actually a little slower. And the reason it's a little slower, and the Google tools can like do a whole big analysis of this, is right now it has to wait until the client.json loads, client.js loads, has to wait until your GAPI library loads, and then it goes and does the request. Whereas before, it was only dependent upon jQuery. So jQuery was loading, and then you were just doing the request. So the performance is technically a little bit worse now, but it feels a lot more elegant. And if you're doing OAuth, you have to wait for the GAPI stuff to load. So I may as well learn how to do it. All right, so that is list. Let's see if we can implement delete next. So we'll just kind of do the same thing that we did. Let's see if we can copy list and modify it to work for delete. Just kind of as a fun little challenge. So here's the GAPI list, and we're going to go looking for the jQuery delete method. And there is the delete quote button, and here's my Ajax thing. I'm just going to go ahead and paste it kind of like right above the Ajax thing. So this is going to replace that. So what do I want to do here? So first I want to change the path. So instead of GAPI client MovieQuotes list, I want to do a .delete. Instead of query parameters, I want to actually like make my own parameters. I'll tell you what, just because it's technically on the path, I'll call it path parameters. And what we need to pass in is we need to pass in an entity key. So this is a little bit different than what we did down here. So it has changed some because we're actually like making an object with the key of entity key. So we're passing up an entity key, and that's going to look like that. Again, the delete would have worked before, but I kind of like doing everything with GAPI. All right, so we've got path parameters. We pass in the path parameters. When the response finishes, we check to make sure the response code is okay. If the response code was okay, we do whatever needs to happen. In this case, we're just going to take that row to remove and remove it. We could like check to make sure that we've got a row to remove, but we should always have one here. So I decided to just not even check because it should always have one. Now we can take our Ajax thing and get rid of it. And we're ready to give it a go. All right, so let's go ahead and try this guy. So I'll refresh just to get the latest. Now I should be able to delete using GAPI, and it'll work just fine. So I'll delete Wizard of Oz, and everything's working just great. Cool. All right, so you are now all GAPI'd up. Admittedly, the only one you like had to fix was the post one, which was used for create and insert. But I kind of like to fix list and delete as well, because now it kind of feels like we're doing things like in the elegant, like right way to do things. And if we're ever using OAuth, this would be the only way to move forwards. All right, so that's it for GAPI. Come back next time for just a little bug fix. I couldn't handle not having a more button, so we're gonna fix that just real quick. See you next time. All right, bye.